All right, gloves off, mics on. You guys can battle it out. I might go in the other room, grab a can of lemonade from the fridge, which I do after like every round of golf, when I want to just relax. So I'll let you
Nice
guys.
golf courses in Arizona.
What's that?
Nice golf courses out here in Arizona.
I have to, as someone who resides for 8 months out of the year in the great state of Utah, I do have to point out there's a lot of great golf in Utah. Parker, Texas is probably third with golf. I'm sorry, but I don't know how big of a concern that is for college football players. So 2026 recruiting right now in the Big 12. Kansas is number one. They've been there for quite a while, I will point out. We're all sleeping on what Lance Leipold is doing. Then it's ASU, Iowa State, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, UCF, Kansas State. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I haven't gotten to Jake and Parker schools yet. And then BYU, TCU, and Houston. So good news for the Cougs of both varieties. You guys are just outside the top half of a 16-team conference. So that's got to feel great right now. But who's finishing with the highest ranked recruiting class in 2026 in the Big 12?
Before we all go for each other's throats, I just want to say that it's really cool that the three new kids on the block of the Big 12 are running this conference. So, gentlemen, cheers to us, the kings of the new Big 12.
Okay, now ignite the red wedding already.
let me know when you guys are ready to start contending with the top dog. As Dr. Dre once famously said, you got to jump and swing up to hit me in the knees.
Oh, okay. I like that. Here's the thing. Watch out for this coming weekend. This could be maybe the most pivotal weekend in BYU recruiting history. I'm dead serious about that. I mentioned there's up to 20 different guys that are going to be on campus this weekend, and there's some of them that are already committed that are going to be here, but they can land the guys that think they can land. Speaking of BYU, you're going to see the two Cougars take a major leap, and very well at the end of the day could be at the top Big 12 team in the 2026 cycle if all goes according to plan.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that too and say Houston's having a pretty strong last 10 days or so. It's been a week since Keyshawn fully committed and declined his other visits. You've seen a bunch of people jump in and take extra visit, take an official visit when they only had an unofficial earlier to Houston. I don't think that's an accident. I also think the thing that we can all agree on here though is every time Tech gets predicted to do well, they don't. Every time Kansas gets predicted to do well, they don't. It's probably not going to end at those two places.
Okay, hold on. The Tech thing, I hear you. I'm going to jump on the train anyway. I've already gotten aboard. I can't get off of it. So it's a runaway train. The Kansas thing, you say every time they've predicted to do.
Yeah, all three.
Predicted to. Yeah, three? What three? Three? It's one. There's one. There's one time where they were predicted. I'm not talking about actually doing well. I'm talking going into the season, people like me or whoever said, oh, Kansas will be good this year.
But, okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
To your point, Richie right below me, they were picked 16th in the preseason poll. They went from last to first last year. BYU, I was talking.
I haven't heard that.
You hadn't heard that? Okay, well, congratulations.
You can tell me again, though.
Well, here's the thing.
Man, I love that.
BYU was 14th and tied for the regular season crown. They had the same record. Obviously, they lost out on the tiebreaker for the Big 12 title game. And BYU went 14th to near the top of the Big 12. And these are two programs that last year the thought was, okay, if they go 6-6, life's great probably for both these programs. Guess what? They're both being talked about as college football playoff contenders. Obviously, Richie and the Sun Devils went last year and came within a whisker, it felt like, of knocking off Texas. I think it would completely change the conversation about certain things, but that's beside the point. The bigger point is these are two programs, and Parker, I think, has got a very good case. The fact that they've got a 5-star quarterback already committed that BYU hopes to have after this weekend. The thing is, these three conferences, or these three programs in this conference, we have aspirations of really running this ship, and there's a decent chance that any one of the three here could end up on top.
Jake, that was really good pronunciation of the word ship. Yeah, really. Yeah, Parker and I are in the same.
We can switch it. No, that was slight ship.
That was clean. That was clean. That was good.
Right
my primary school teacher, Mrs. O'Toole, taught us that when we were speaking to slow down and enunciate.
Yeah.
Any relation to
commenters?
Wait, what'd you say, Richie?
Nothing. No, go ahead, Parker, please.
Well, I said you sound like my commenters. I was trying to go for the self-deprecation there. I would also point out that as far as like making Houston's case for this, if any one of us were to just come in like second in our respective state in recruiting, I think Houston wins the Big 12 in recruiting battle right away. If you just said
no, second in Utah don't count for BYU. It's number one or nothing.
But that's what I'm saying though, is like that's what you're looking at. And
NAU doesn't recruit.
But that's what I'm saying here is like it's a very different contest and competition. Like the way Houston's looking at this is Willie Fritz is not getting on a plane to recruit. If he's got to get on a plane to come get you, you're not getting talked to, and he's still like getting these 5- and 4-star kids because that's what we're working with in our backyard. I think that at some point you hear quotes from kids. Richie talked about the quotes from different people, and Sam Levitt turned down money. You're kind of hearing people on the Houston side of things saying, listen, if we're just like in the ballpark of the same dollar amount, there's some value in just representing where I'm from for something in the same ballpark. And getting to that ballpark is proving a lot easier than like trying to beat them out, I think.
Well, and Parker, to your point, for the BYU, it's more about the representation of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. There are guys who want to represent that church. They may not be from Utah, but they have affiliation with that faith, and they want to represent that faith. Kind of what you're talking about, representing Houston in your hometown. Yeah, there's guys who want to put on for the state of Utah, obviously, but BYU stands for a little bit more because it's a church-affiliated institution. A guy like Ryder Lyons, Folsom, California, has no like clear tie to Provo, Utah, outside the fact that Ryder is a member of the church and wants to potentially represent the church.
Richie, would you like to make like John Denver and Take Me Home?
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't ready for that. So.
Let's take us home.
And all of a sudden, it's Mountaineer Paul with a steel chair.
Don't get me started.
Mountaineer Paul from the top rope.
He'd be so good at that.
He would be. Yeah, no.
Locked on Ultimate Wrestling Competition. Mountaineer Paul would win so quickly and so easily.
Segment 2 Mountain Dew would be a whole lot different.
His dad's prosthetic in one hand to smack you with, like it'd just be phenomenal.
Oh, dude, he would beat us like Kung Fu Panda beat Tai Lung. I mean, it would be glorious. It would be.
We have 4 movies now. How many movies are we at right now?
Oh, dude, do you think I can? I have to limit myself on all of my shows. Like I can't just go on. I was this close to. I mean, I'm the executive producer of this show. Technically speaking, I mean, my boss might have said something or whatever, but like I could have gone down the rabbit hole of like, let's talk about the best messages from the Marvel movies. But as long as we tie it to college football, I technically would have been in the purview of my contract.
But Thanos would take out everyone with a cartoon character as their profile picture, right? Like that's a clear-cut line.
But Poe had like that
probably
thing that would just throw Thanos for a loop. So
the whooshy finger hold. Whooshy, the whooshy finger hold.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yes, he was not, in fact, bluffing. I am not bluffing when I say we're going to wrap the show there for today. Jake Hatch locked up BYU, Parker Ainsworth locked on Houston, Richie Bradshaw locked on Sun Devils. I'm Spencer McLaughlin. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. And until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.